สสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะSo this time we're going to just give some instruction. This helps to empty the sense fields and cultivate correct kind of attention. So as you're coming into your sitting position, you check out the spine, from the base of the spine on up slowly, as if you're running a finger or a thumb up that long groove in the center of your back. And just kind of, it's almost like a gentle massage, just putting some thumb pressure on the vertebrae, moving up your back. Particularly when you get to the area between your shoulder blades, that is behind your heart, just putting some gentle, sustained pressure there. And taking a few long out breaths, letting the chest expand, breathing out, relaxing the diaphragm, dropping the belly. And take that through up to the base of your neck. And then very gently, much lighter touch the neck bones, as if you have hands underneath the skull, just gently supporting and lifting the skull. And this time, keep your eyes open or half open. And rather than look at any particular detail, just be aware of the entire field of visual consciousness from one extreme to the other. So if you just as if you have this sheet in front of your eyes, these various colors and shapes on it, and you're trying to just be aware of the entire sheet and not go into the details. As you're doing that, be aware of your eyeballs as physical experience. And particularly the muscles around the eyes, the eye sockets. Calming, relaxing the eye sockets. And the sides of the head. And the forehead. So you have the physical aspect associated with visual focus. So when these tighten up, we get a sharp focus. And when these loosen, we get a very wide focus. We want to sustain the wide focus. So we're aware of seeing rather than looking at anything. You can widen your attention. You're aware of seeing. You're also aware of the sensations around your eyes that are holding them lightly, tissues relaxed. And make that a point to keep resting around the eye sockets. Keep the eyes open so you don't fall asleep, feel sleepy. So there's the visual consciousness. And there's also body. Experience your eye sockets, forehead. And you can probably also include the face. And behind all that, you can sense this rhythm of breathing. Avoid focusing on any particular point. Instead, spread your attention, what you can sense of your body, visual field, and the quality of rhythmic, slow rhythm of breathing. That helps to keep things fluid. Naturally, the mind will try to intrude with pushes, agitations, thinking, and just keep referring back to this sheet in front of you, seems to be in front of you. And relaxing around the eyes with each out breath. This is a disengaged attention. We're not engaging with any detail. There's no activity. It's very still. How that feels. So certain floating, the eyeballs float, and let your awareness float. sensing these very simple reference points. Seeing, but not any object, and feeling a body, and how the two meet around the eyes. So pause there, and we come out of meditation. Don't jump too quickly, but first of all, feeling your sense of being a body, centered, sitting or standing. Just that simple, firm presence. And then gradually let your awareness expand out through the sense fields, the ears, the eyes, and so on. So I have a few questions here. Thank you for your questions and comments. I do look at them, and I value getting some comments, because although I see some names on the screen, I see some faces, it's the interaction is minimal. So it's to feel there's some real people there who are responding and bringing their lives into contact. It certainly gives a certain enriching quality, and also gives me something specific to address. So thank you for your questions and comments. So one of these questions, which we'll start with, is about, called, the person's asking about the āsavā in relationship to citta. And so these terms are linked together, and particularly the expression is when the āsavā are finished, the citta is liberated. Khinasava, the āsavā have terminated. Citta is liberated through the termination of the āsavā. So let's translate that into English, or we can, as best we can. Āsavā refers to a kind of disease, or corruption, and it's apparently associated with a disease that trees used to get, where they start to break open and their sap would come oozing out. Quite graphic. And so the āsavā can either be seen as that which invades the tree, or it could be seen as the tree leaking its juice leaking its sap, so it's bleeding, you could say. And so both of these are useful impressions to have to understand what's occurring. The chitta, your heart, your awareness, your sensitivity is invaded by some corrupting influence, and it starts to leak and flood, and its energies and its composure dissipates. And there are three āsavā. Āsavā first is called the āsavā of ignorance, or seeing things wrongly. So this really affects everything. And in seeing things wrongly, or ignorance, means the chitta believes that it belongs to this manifest sensory, mental, psychological. It believes it belongs to this. I'm in this. This is where I am. And this is such a profound influence that few of us ever doubt that we are in this. I am sort of aware in this body. I am in this room. I am living at this time of day in this country. This seems so true. And yet when you begin to examine, well, what are you talking about? Who's in this body? Which part of the body? The whole body? The body, as you experience it, is constantly changing. The visual appearance, the bodily experience in the body is of sensations and pulses that are continually shifting. And you can be aware of them. You can notice them. And also you can completely ignore them. So clearly these arise, but to say this is fundamentally where you are is a mistake. And similarly, even more obviously, we look around and we say, in a room, well, if you take the walls down, you haven't moved anywhere, where's the room? And you might live in a country, say I live in Switzerland or something, and then, well, if you keep, where does Switzerland become France? It's just purely a conventional border, isn't it? You're on the planet, and where you choose to put the boundaries of that is up to you. You could say you live in Europe, or you could say you live on the planet Earth, or you could say you live in Zurich, or you could say you live in this street, or this house, or this room. And those are just creating boundaries around something that has no boundary. So what are we in? We experience ourselves surrounded by or seemingly in contact with a world of visual consciousness, auditory consciousness, tactile consciousness, and so on. But when you're, say, just even with your eyes, can you see objects? Is the object, it's out there, isn't it? So if it's out there, how, you're not in it, are you? How, is it inside you, the object? No, it's out there. How do you see it? You experience a kind of feeling or a perception that arises from that visual thing, that visual object. But the visual object's not in you. If you close your eyes, it disappears. So you close your eyes, you're no longer in visual consciousness. Right? Similarly, hearing, all these other consciousnesses, you can close them, or you can turn in another direction. The consciousness, and the most difficult consciousness, of course, is the mental consciousness, the thinking mind, which keeps arranging everything, and we seem very much to be in that. Until you begin to practice quietening your thoughts, calming your thoughts, and you see thoughts are no longer a solid wall, but they're momentary flutters and momentary processes, momentary phenomena passing through. So it's not very solid, is it? Yeah. So, but the ignorance thinks, yeah, I'm in this country, this room, I'm in this body, yeah. That's the way it appears, till you begin to examine it. Now, the second āsavā is the āsavā of sensuality, which means there's a strong push. The citta pushes out towards sights and sounds, seeking happiness, seeking security in sights, sounds, touches, or a mixture of them. If I get the right flavor, the right odor, the right visual thing, the right kind of physical contact, I'll be okay. And of course, it never quite works. It's not stable and it's not satisfying, but the citta continually looks around in that realm for something or mixture that will make it feel stable and contented. And that's a strong impression. Yeah. And it doesn't work because the citta actually isn't in the sense realm. It keeps trying to get into it because it's searching for a quality called happiness. But a sight is not happy, a sound is not happy. Happiness is in your own heart, in your own citta. It's not in the sight or the sound, is it? Right. So this kind of pressure to move out. And we can also recognize that there are certain ways in which we release ourselves or are no longer so engaged with the sense world. For example, when we have a sense of conscience and concern, morality, well, that's a real thing. That disturbs me. Yeah. Now, morality is not something you can see or touch or taste. It's not an idea. It's a heart experience, right? So, and with that, we're no longer so concerned about the sense realm or attraction to it. We just want to live in a balanced, composed way. So the citta can step back from the sense realm. There's a way in which it can not be so dominated by this āsavā. But if it is dominated by it, then it's constantly seeking and quarreling and trying to find a place in the sense world. It can't find a place. The third āsavā is called the āsavā of becoming. This is not a very easy translation, but the Pali word is bhava, and it means continuity. I will exist, I was, I will be in the future. Yeah. What will I be in the future? I'm concerned about what I'll be in the future. What will happen to me in the future, I don't know, and I feel anxious. Or I'm very eager for the future. A great idea, something I want to do in the future. And the past, I have regret for the past. I have a sense of nostalgia and fondness for the past. Where is this stuff? Where is this future? Where is this past? It's a mental construction, isn't it? Actually, there is no real future. There's the anticipation and the future, and there's the memory. Anticipation happens now, memory happens now. They create the future. Yeah, but the inclination is to, I am a person who moves through time. I'm a person who moves through time. I was, I am, I will be. But actually, more true is the matter that time is an experience that moves my chitta. It's that anticipation and memory, and that searching to make it stable and satisfactory, and it's not stable or satisfactory, and you can't find yourself in it. So this is these āsavā, and they constantly throw the chitta off balance into this state of restless dissatisfaction. We call it samsara. So that's the āsavā. So you can, as we're just doing, meditate on the sense consciousness. This is a visual experience. Rather than go into the details, just look at visual consciousness is there. And there it is, it's, and you don't have to go into it. And also see how the visual consciousness gives you the sense of being here, and that's there. But actually, if you close your eyes, there's no there. So there's no there, where is here? Yeah. So I'm looking at something that's 1 meter away, 3 feet away. I can say, that's 3 feet away from me. I'm here. But if you close your eyes, there's no location. There's no sense of location. So all these, you see, this is the illusion of consciousness. It generates a sense of space, and it generates a sense of time. And chitta feels trapped in that. This is the world of death and wandering on. So the theme is to release the chitta from the āsavā by stabilizing chitta in its own presence. So, for example, morality is not a matter of time or place. Loving kindness is not a matter of time or place. Composure and calm and samadhi is not a matter of time and place. And when the chitta abides in ethical concern, in loving kindness, and in samadhi, this is when it begins to settle, because it's settling into itself. So with a disengagement from the āsavā, the chitta settles, quietens, and is liberated. Of course, it takes some work. You've got some powerful instincts. These āsavā are very powerful floods. They're not decisions, they're irrational floods, rather like a disease. You don't decide to have it, it just happens. And you just got to look out for the symptoms, because sometimes you don't even realize it. And when you're getting embedded, so that the world is running you, the world of time and place is running you, then you know you're stuck. And it's time to step back into chitta, to bring it back into itself, find some composure. Woman is asking about nagging sense there's something wrong with me. I haven't settled into a relationship. I don't have children. I'm getting old. I'm on my own. I don't fit in. So with these feelings, I keep sensing a pain in my chest, trying to give it all space. And then as I do that, I get a sense that all these feelings and energies and attitudes of not fitting and so forth, and something wrong with me, they're not mine.
I got a sense I'm in an energy field of the family, picking up on sankharas, mental formations, psychological forms, attitudes, behaviors, and so forth, that resonate with the tendencies in my conditioning. When I realize this is not me, the feelings lose their grip, and I align with Buddha Dharma Sangha. So, though the woman feels she really appreciates meditation, I don't find myself aligning with any particular practices or cultivating particular states. I often lack discipline in practice. So the person's asking about that and very much appreciates support from the monasteries, and in fact is considering maybe seeking ordination. Well, you know, the truth of the matter is the chitta doesn't fit into this world. You can, with a bit of pressure, you can try to make it fit. And with a bit of pressure, with a bit of drive, and with a bit of desire, and you can get in there. But if you relax it, you see it just doesn't fit into this daily thing we call the world. And you have to learn to relate to it. Now, in terms of particular practices, it's like feeding a horse or a cat or a dog. You can't force it. You have to find out what kind of food it eats, and ask it if it's hungry. It seems to me that yours is hungry. It's hungry for some stability and some sense of self-respect and some sense of purpose. And so we say, well, okay, where, so, you know, so very much get your intention right. This is what my mind is interested in. Okay. So then see how from that intention coming into your, where you are right now, your body, your thoughts, your mind, with the intention, with that intention to find some stability, and then see what your mind picks up. See what your attention is drawn to. You might start off with just simply feeling your body being present, and then generate a quality of receptivity, goodwill. Because of the distracting nature of our conditioning, it's most of us need some discipline, and if you can't do it on your own, you need to have an outside reference to help support that, either a monastery or a Dharma center or friends who can be with them, and a sense of that helps to create the discipline. Within that, you're searching for what will actually my citta pick up in its search for meaning and truth. So another person is asking about Kalyanamitta as being important. The Buddha stresses the importance of it. Many of us do not live in Dharma communities where we have ready access and support to Kalyanamitta. Wonder if you can speak to ways we might be able to attune to Kalyana as a meditative and life practice. Well, I think at the time of the Buddha, communities were quite rare. People would often be, monks and nuns would often be off their own, ones and twos, a lot of time spent in solitude. So I think one can imagine being, if you're in lay life, that, you know, in monastic communities, we're all really, you know, swinging along together and really cozy and talking on Dhamma and getting a lot of support from each other personally, and that isn't the case. There's a lot of solitude, a lot of silence, a lot of space, but often your Kalyanamitta is, you might, you know, is your sense of respect and your sense of common values. And whether a physical person is physically present or not physically present, that's additional. But you internalize your Kalyanamitta. So you attend to admirable qualities, and particularly any that you remember any other person modeling. So you might have seen or heard or encountered. So you remember those. This is the function of sati. You remember the skillful deeds, acts, generosities, kindness that have been shown, and you remember and you linger with those. So you build up this perceptual field of Kalyanamitta. The Buddha himself was moving around a lot. Perhaps if you're a monk or a nun, you might only see him once or twice in your life. You know where he was going. Same with some of these forest ajahns. You know, you were lucky to catch hold of them. They might come through for a few days and they're off. Yeah. And the idea is, well, you know, you have to pick up the impression, the memory, the image, and linger in that. Yeah. And if you can even, but nowadays you can always, so often you can do a video of a monk or a nun or something. And that does help. Now, I think that the most precious thing is when you can have a Dhamma discussion, Dhamma talk, Dhamma interview, then this is a precious opportunity, of course. But, you know, that may happen now and then. And it may be relatively simple, not necessarily esoteric topics. It's just whenever a person speaks from their heart and you listen, you have Kalyanamitta. When you speak from your heart and somebody listens, you get, that's Kalyanamitta. You get that moment of, we are connected in truth, even if it's a very simple truth. Okay, so I'll move on. Person's asking about her neck and head feel quite separate when she's doing mindfulness of the body, feeling internally the body. So you get the internal impression, there's this sense of a chest here and a throat. And she feels it's kind of like disconnected. They're not broken off or something. So what to do about that? And particularly as this seems to be connected, linked to her thinking processes, or I think it's a woman, it might be a man. This person's thinking processes seem to be cut off from his or her sense of sensitivity and responsiveness. That's the head has got its own world it's living in, which is different from the world of the body and the heart. And so that's both psychological and even somatic. And I would suggest that's not uncommon because of particularly our lifestyle these days. A lot of energy goes into the head, into thinking, and the body is ignored, you know. When we're busy, we're up in our heads, a lot of energy here, you're barely aware of the body much at all. You know. If you're walking, you've got the idea of where you're going, you're hardly aware of your feet or your body. You just, as long as it keeps going, that's all you know about it. So there's an extreme unbalance, disbalance, you know, lack of balance between the head and the rest of the body. And that manifests as over intense thinking and loss of sensitivity. You know, and this is the story of the urban lifestyle, and that we're now, you know, dealing with abstractions, screens, ideas, future, past. None of these have an embodied reality to them. But this is where most of us, well, people live in this abstract world. So we have to, a couple of things. First thing is you learn to sweep your attention from the sensations in your chest or your throat up into your head, sweep it slowly up and down, and see if you can, is there any place where it stops? Is there any place where there's a tension or a break? If that's the case, you bring your awareness there and expand your awareness. You find the places where you can feel things. You can feel your chin or your jaw, and you can feel your throat, and just linger there, building up more sensitivity around this particular area. And you can sweep, move your awareness around lightly if it feels tight or tense or numb. Second thing is, with your thinking, learn to feel your thoughts. So we can think about da-da-da-da-da very fast, and you might feel them, oh, this is a fast thought, this is a busy thought, this is an urgent thought, this is a happy thought, this is an excited thought. So you begin to feel the emotional undercurrent of your thinking, so then you can take the thinking back to the emotion that's driving it, and then take the emotion back into the heart, and then rest the heart in the body, feeling how your body is stimulated or activated by these emotions. So once you get back to emotion, then you can feel your body again. So you're beginning to form a connection between the thinking, the head, body, and heart. And none of them are wrong. They're just, when they're unbalanced, things go wrong. But if they come together, then things begin to settle properly, and you find the right balance. Someone's asking about the technical points. 3 terms for investigation: Vitakka Vichara, Dhamma Vijaya, and Vimamsa. Well, Vitakka Vichara is not investigation, it's just the thinking process, which means that thinking places attention on something momentarily, that, and Vichara, how does it feel? So it's like thinking and sensing, just like you're placing your finger on something. So whenever you think of something like, you know, Janice or a cat, you get a little picture of the cat, and then, that's that. So the placing and sensing. There's no investigation. It's just a location. It's creating a perception, right? Now, Dhamma Vijaya is you exploring the quality of an experience. How does this feel? What is it doing? So exploring the qualities of experience. You know, is it sour? Is it defiled? Is it pure? How does it feel? So investigating things, qualities of experience. So the thoughts are thoughts, but there could be thoughts that are brutal, thoughts that are fickle, thoughts that are happy. This contains this quality. So you penetrating the qualities, the ethical and the tonal and the chitta qualities that are present in phenomena. This is mental phenomena. Vimamsa refers to the process of analysis. So it's like, this is this, that's much more intellectual. Sampajana doesn't seem to appear in these factors. I don't know who created these lists of factors, but sampajana is just, it's not really a separate factor. It's just that's what happens when there's mindfulness. It just means you see things clearly. Yeah. So if there's mindfulness, you see things directly, fully. And so it's an attribute of mindfulness. It's like if I put my spectacles on, I see things clearly. Yeah. So if I put my mindfulness on, I see things clearly. So that's sampajanya. Seeing things directly, fully seeing things. Let's see if there's any more. Okay, well, I think we're coming to the end of our time. Someone's asked another question, but it's rather a long topic, an involved topic. I would like to talk about it another time. It's one of those timeless topics. But I realize you've all taken some time out and of your day, and you may have other things you want to do. So I don't want to take up a lot more time. And maybe there's enough in what's been happened this time for you to think about, digest, take in, and make use of. So let's keep practicing, and I hope to see any of you who wish to. Hope to see you next week, next Saturday.
Handamayang Dhammakataya Sadhukarang Dadamase Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu Anumodami.
So let's finish by paying our respects to the Triple Gem. Buddham Bhagavantam Vivadi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namatsami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namah. So take good care and keep your Dhamma to the fore and look after yourself till we meet again.